fun and games, but the really nitty gritty things, that, especially language, we can kind of learn through games and stuff like that. But like minorities in Korea, politics in Korea, history of Korea, we really can't learn through. Sorry, just making sure it's still recording.
Me too.
We can't really learn through fun games, so we do have some kind of lecture style meetings. Our first meeting last Friday was actually over Korean tourism. So we had an interactive PowerPoint about Korean tourism, where to go, what to see, what Korean phrases you need to know, how to use the metro system, and all that type of stuff.
Cool.
How to use, how to get a taxi in Korea and that type of stuff. So it's a very multifaceted thing.
Cool.
A lot of people come for just, they like K-pop, and then realize we don't really do anything about K-pop. We don't really, I mean, our members like it, but
Yeah.
we don't talk about it officially in our meetings. We do talk about music in Korea. It's just, we go from pansori, which is traditional opera, to modern day Korean pop, but
Cool.
we don't really talk about K-pop that much.
So, are there Korean students in the club?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any estimate of like how many ratio? Is it like mostly? Would you say it's mostly non-Koreans? Or
It's most, I would say 90% non-Koreans.
Okay.
Because when the Korean students come to America, they really don't want to
more Korean people?
get Korean. They come to America for a reason. They don't really want to have to deal with it. But we do have a few Korean students that come and they find it a lot of fun being able to teach culture and language because I'm not Korean. I only lived there for a year. My speaking is very basic level. I can hold a conversation, ask for directions, and I can teach my members how to read and write. But that's just about it. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Only,
That sounds pretty cool. So, what do you have to say? What do you think about maybe some stigma around the because you said you get both. Some people who think you're weird, some people who think it's really cool. What do you think about those kind of people? Or
they just don't know the club. They haven't been to a meeting. A lot of people think we're just creepy Korean pop fans who fetishize Asian men and just fetishize Asians in general, and are like mainly focused around Korean pop. When, like I said, we don't talk about Korean pop hardly at all.
Okay.
As official meeting topics, we talked about Korean music once last semester. We don't have any plans to talk about Korean music this semester. We did have a K-pop dance troupe, but they're no longer with us.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that. Like, we have a trip planned to Pittsburgh this semester to go visit the Korean community there and stuff, eat Korean food, go
that's
shopping
really
and stuff like that. Last semester we did a trip to Cleveland to go eat Korean food and stuff like that. But there's a lot of misconceptions about that type of stuff. And like we are here to help our members study in Korea, learn more about Korea, because I know a lot of them won't have the availability or the money to be able to go to Korea when they have a lot of passion about the country and the culture. So I try to bring it a little bit back with me.
Okay, so what would you say is the overarching goal of the club?
Just to get people to realize there's more to Korea than just K-pop and K-dramas. Open people up to not just one country, but two. Try to destigmatize North Korea, because a lot of things that we know about North Korea are lies.
For example?
For example, the fact that North Koreans are all starving and malnourished. That's not true. That North Koreans are submissive, totally under control by their regime, when that's not true. The United States has, since the 1950s, attempted regime change in North Korea, so a lot of the information we get from the United States is not true, and even to some degree, the information we get from South Korea is not true, and stuff like that. So we're just trying to just open up people's minds and perspectives to another culture and another way of living.
Okay, and would you say that a facet of that is trying to mobilize the members to study abroad or at least visit?
Yeah, definitely. That's most of our officer staff, I would say, have been to Korea, whether it's study abroad or vacation or long-term vacation, or are Korean.
Yeah.
So we do try to push for our members to study abroad, and a lot of them come to our meetings already wanting to study abroad in Korea, and they're just learning how to get prepared for that. Because there's a lot of Italian programs or Chinese programs, or there's a lot of Spanish programs that the university offers, but Korea, there is nothing
Yes.
offered.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. How do you think? How do I phrase this? How do you think your club avoids cultural appropriation?
We do it in a lot of ways. First off, cultural fetishization and appropriation is downright disgusting, and it's borderline racism. We do not allow our members to wear traditional Korean clothing unless approved upon by a Korean member. We also do not allow our members to fetishize, or the word I'm looking for is bemoan, but that's not correct, over Korean pop idols.
Okay.
And stuff like that. We had an instance 2 years ago where two girls had they call it biases, your favorite Korean pop idol,
Okay.
who had the same biases, and this girl threatened to fight another girl over it. So we told her, you need to leave. That's not acceptable here, and that type of stuff. So we do actively try to fight that, and it's really hard when people, it's not as much this year, but in the past, where a lot of members have came in with a preconceived notion of what Korean men are like, or what Korean women are like, and then kind of showing their biases, and we try to steer them away from that and stuff like that.
Cool. Okay. Is there anything you think you want to add that I'm leaving out? Anything you want me to follow up on? You know, last thoughts? It's okay if not. And I would love to maybe come to one of the meetings to see, you know, firsthand what it's all about.
Our next meeting is not this Friday, but next Friday, so the 8th.
Okay.
And it'll be over. Our Vice President and Secretary Treasurer are giving a presentation on Korean fashion.
Cool.
And then afterwards, I'll be giving a survival Korean lesson to members who are studying abroad.
Cool. Okay. And what time? Do you know?
6 p.m., Bowman Hall,
6 p.m.
207.
Okay, I'll try and make it.
And then our next one after that, if you can't make it, is the 22nd. And it's our lesson on how to make Korean kimbap, which is
How do you spell that?
Kimbap, which, how do you describe kimbap? Korean version of sushi.
Okay. More or less sushi.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I will try and make it. Anything else?
No, I think I got everything out.
Okay, cool. This honestly was a